Well, good morning. It's Sunday, the 15th of September, and I really shouldn't be here with you. I had big plans to operate in the Worked All Europe Single Sideband Contest, and therein lies the story. Let me tell you. My friend Matt, NU4E, and I made plans to go ahead and operate. This is a favorite contest that's put on by the German Amateur Radio Association. And if you go to their website, you can find all of the rules and background information about it. The contest is still on right now as I'm talking to you. Oh, what am I doing here then? Well, let me give you a little background first. Before we started the contest, I had some work to do because the week before the contest, I was operating on FT8 on 160 meters, looking to work a station in Mauritania, the DXpedition, the 5T8. I was successful, but in the process, I blew out the ballon on my 160 meter off-center fed dipole. You can see here this is the case, and it's somewhat distorted by the heat that was generated inside. And when you look inside, you can see that there are two wires that I guess were originally soldered together, no mechanical connection. Well, they got hot enough to desolder themselves, and that caused all sorts of problems. So before the contest, I got to work and pulled the cores out of the case. The case was a standard electrical box that you can find at Lowe's. And so what I did was I remounted it, remounted the cores inside the electrical box. And note also that I'm no longer going to put the side strain just on the plastic box, but rather I got a turnbuckle, this from Home Depot, and I'm going to put the side stresses from the links of the off-center fed dipole on the turnbuckle and connect up the ends of the wires to new bolts that'll go through the side. So this is the final outcome, the rebuilt 160 meter off-center fed dipole. Figured this is going to be a big part of our antenna contingent for the Worked All Europe contest. Notice the DX Engineering sticker. You know why they give you all those free stickers, don't you? Because if you put the DX Engineering sticker on your home-built devices, it brings the DX. At least that's my theory, anyway. Many of you know also that I operate the German RF kit amplifier, and the damage that was caused to the off-center fed dipole ballon also took out one of the LD MOS devices in my amplifier. I'm not exactly sure why the SWR protection didn't trip, but in any event, I had to replace one of the output devices. And they're available from DigiKey, so that's not such of a big problem. For the version that I have, the BLF 188s, it was $186 to replace the device. And when I was in Dayton most recently, Reinhardt from RF Kit gave me a couple of the new aluminum clamps which they're using on the newly designed S amplifier. And so I installed those now on the PA deck. Took both of the devices out, cleaned things out, put new thermal transfer compound, put the devices back in. I don't have a torque wrench, so I used my well-engineered hands to torque the new bolts down to the hopefully proper specifications, and then reset the bias and went through setup, and everything checked out just fine. During this process, I was emailing with Max George out in Utah, and he's done a modification to his amplifier that I thought, well, I could implement that, adding an additional fan to the top to improve airflow over the PA deck. This is an 80 centimeter, I think, Arctic fan that I got from Amazon. And then with a fan Y adapter that's also available on Amazon, I just plugged the Y into the header and plugged in the original fans and this, and everything works just fine. Pulse width modulation controls the speed on this fan and the original fans, so everything seems to be good. So that was my repair to the RF kit amplifier. Oh, look, count the amplifiers. My amplifier is there in the foreground. At the same time, I also had an amplifier come down to me from my friend Scott, W1BIC, for a checkup. And his amplifier checked out just fine, although I did go through the alignment and bias setting procedure on it. I got his permission to test it out in the contest. So I thought, hey, here we go. We've got 2 high power stations, and you can do this in the Worked All Europe contest. You can have one run station and a secondary station that only goes for multipliers. So that was our plan. You might notice there in the middle of the desk there on the left, also some bandpass filters, transmit bandpass filters that I borrowed from my friend Dave, K4 Sugar Victor. These are the ICE, or International Communications Electronics filters that are well known. So we use those to help provide a little bit more isolation between the 2 stations. All in all, we could operate on different bands with the stations. That on certain frequencies there would be some issues, but it worked out okay. So here's a photo of Matt, NU4E, operating on the main station, and let's take a look at about a 1-minute video of some of his operating.
Delta Lima 3, Radio, Alpha Radio, guten Morgen, 59058, die 58. 058 058 59 058 058. Vielen Dank, 73, Servus. Bye-bye, cure that. Whiskey 4, Echo, Echo Yankee, CQ Worked All Europe. CQ Contest, Whiskey 4, Echo, Echo Yankee. Whiskey 4, Echo, Echo Yankee, CQ Worked All Europe. Delta Foxtrot 0, Charlie Sierra 59059.
So what that video didn't show, or actually let you hear, is the sound of the bands. And that's why I'm here talking to you today. We had very poor propagation. Here is a readout from DX Heat today, just this morning, and you notice the dials for the solar flux index on the left, down low, and you notice the magnetic activity indicator down low also today. Well, yesterday, Saturday, that magnetic activity needle was up into the red. And we had very poor propagation on the HF bands. And also coupled with that, on Friday evening when we started out, we had thunderstorms in the area. So we were listening through static crashes, we were listening down into the noise, and also because propagation was really only on one band at a time, whether it be 20 meters during the day or 40 meters at night, everything was extra crowded, and single sideband contests are really a challenge for a receiver to hear signals with close-in interference. So we had to listen through that, and both Matt and I, by Saturday morning, had headaches. We were suffering from headaches because of having to listen into the noise. And so we also had what some people say is not possible, but I've experienced in the past. We were having one-way propagation. We were an alligator. Our 1,000-watt, 1,500-watt signals were being heard in Europe, but we weren't hearing anybody coming back to us. And in fact, during one portion, another station relayed that, hey, you've got a DL calling you. I couldn't hear him. So with all of this going on yesterday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, I finally made the decision, let's pull the plug. Let's give up and go on to the next contest in October, the CQ Worldwide Single Sideband Contest, the granddaddy of them all. So we'll be operating again from W4EEY, but if you didn't hear us today on Sunday in the contest, the Worked All Europe contest, here's the reason why. Thanks for watching. 73 from Whiskey 4 Echo Echo Yankee.